I have been remiss in not thanking Jim Osgood, who has done all the details in getting this thing together. If you think getting a hold of these people is easy, and then getting them all here at the same time, you would be wrong. Jim, thanks very much for making that. I know most of you heard, but maybe some of you didn't hear, that we're video taping this evening so that we can put it on the internet. And that's why we asked you to sign up outside your email if we don't already have it as a CFS member, so that we can mail you the link when that's available within the next couple of days. Then you can pass that on to your friends, extend the knowledge and the information that we received here tonight, and we would thank you for doing so. Now, that being the case, we're ready to move over to the pro side, and you have 10 minutes, gentlemen.
All right, well, now I get to speak. I'd like to tell a little story. I was actually happy when I saw the council members coming in this evening, because there's not a quorum, and the story that I'm going to tell right now is John James. He made a comment at a June city council meeting that really stuck with me, and I think is really pertinent for tonight. He was talking about his efforts prior to being on the city council to try and get a parks bond passed, and it failed. And the reason he did it was because he had kids in the school system, kids working or here in the community, that he really wanted to have some parks and wanted to have that recreation for those kids. And that bond failed. And when he was in the meeting, the comment that he made was that his kids at this point are now out of school. It's about 6 years from them. Well, he still has some in school, but by the time this facility would be built, his kids would be out of school. And so he's really supporting this for other kids, not for his kids. And so really what that said to me is, when do we do this? You know, when is the right time? Right now, we have the highest population of youth under the age of 18, I think, than any city in the state of Washington. Construction costs are lower than they've probably been in quite a long time, as well as the fact that we have the money. So do we let another generation of kids not enjoy this community center? I thought that was well said by the council member. He said it a little different than I did, so I'm not really quoting him, but that's pretty much the point that he made, and that stayed with me. So with that.
I'd like to begin by citing the introduction to the 2012 Parks, Recreation, and Open Space Plan, also known as the PRO Plan, as developed by the City of Sammamish staff in cooperation with the Sammamish Parks Commission. Quote, "The Sammamish community has clearly indicated that it places a high value on the parks and recreation system. Outdoor play, sports, hiking, swimming, biking, walking, nature walking, and many other activities and experiences contribute to the overall quality of life in the city. In fact, this is the reason many people have moved to Sammamish in recent years. It's a perfect nexus between the urban cities that help us meet our modern day needs and the rural forests and farms that allow us to experience the serenity of nature. It's the very balance that we strive to preserve in planning for the future of parks and recreations in Sammamish." End quote. The vision statement from the city's comprehensive plan includes the following statement, quote, "Establish a park and recreation system that meets the high standards of the community," end quote. Public surveys were conducted by the city in 2006, 2008, 2010. Sammamish citizens expressed strong overall satisfaction with the city's parks and recreation facilities. Furthermore, in the 2010 survey, the public indicated that a very substantial portion of the public is highly likely to use an aquatic center. Respondents gave strong preference for an indoor facility to be located near City Hall with fitness center, sports courts or indoor walking track, and a multi-purpose gymnasium. Most notably, when asked what type of project should be funded, if only one type was possible, a significant majority selected a community and aquatic center. The PRO Plan also identified the following objective: develop a new comprehensive indoor community center to serve both the active and passive recreation needs of the community. So in direct response to that interest, the City of Sammamish embarked on a feasibility study for such a facility. In early 2011, City Council approved selection of a consultant who in turn hosted a series of public meetings to discuss our hopes, dreams, and fears. After doing site analysis, market research, and reviewing focus group results, the consultant presented the City Council with a proposal that reflected the community's stated desires. Unfortunately, the price tag was almost universally considered too hefty. $44 million for the building, another $20 million for related road improvements and the underground parking lot. So looking to lower the cost, the City Council reduced the scope of the building and agreed to find a partner. So why should we form a partnership? The City of Sammamish has successfully used this approach for several ventures to reduce costs while providing maximum benefits to our citizens. At East Lake High School, our city and the Lake Washington School District have partnered to build 3 multi-purpose ball fields with artificial turf that provide year-round use of youth and adult soccer, lacrosse, and baseball teams. A similar venture with the Issaquah School District resulted in 2 additional synthetic turf fields at Skyline High School. More recently, the City of Sammamish purchased the former county library building and partnered with the Boys and Girls Club to operate a much-needed teen center. We've also partnered with the Washington Trails Association to build trails in Evans Creek Preserve and Beaver Lake Preserve. These partnerships significantly reduce public costs and provide benefit for all involved, especially the citizens of our city. The city's Pro Plan also stated the following objective: identify and implement partnerships that support efficient and effective delivery of recreation services and programs. The most recent trend in American recreation development is the design and construction of multi-use, multi-purpose indoor venues that are fee-based. Despite their allure, most are not self-sufficient and typically run at 75 to 90% recovery rate, with local dollars usually making up the difference. With this knowledge, the City Council scaled back the proposed facility by removing higher cost items that had a commensurate lower return, such as a competitive swimming pool. Other amenities were dropped, including underground parking, a catering kitchen, and large meeting rooms. The result is a trimmed-down, more affordable community and aquatic center. The city then sought a partner to implement this project. The natural choice was the YMCA, a nonprofit enterprise with tremendous experience and knowledge in this area. Even better, the Y's purpose mirrors that of our city government. That is to strengthen our community. The Y works side by side with its neighbors to make sure that everyone, regardless of age, income, or background, has the opportunity to learn, grow, and thrive. The Y believes in positive change. It listens and responds to the community. It brings people together and connects people of all ages and backgrounds. The Y nurtures potential, giving everyone an opportunity to learn, grow, and thrive. And the Y works to mobilize communities to effect lasting, meaningful change. Take a look at the Y's website and you'll read these words. The Y is a cause-driven organization that is for youth development, for healthy living, and for social responsibility. That's because a strong community can only be achieved when we invest in our kids, our health, and our neighbors. The Y is for everyone. Our programs, services, and initiatives enable kids to realize their potential, prepare teens for college, offer ways for family to have fun together, empower people to be healthier in spirit, mind, and body, prepare people for employment, welcome and embrace newcomers, and help foster a nationwide service ethic. And that's just the beginning. So each of us has the same aspirations for our children, our friends, and our fellow citizens. The partnership between the Y and the City of Sammamish is one of mutual support, respect, initiative, and vision. It simply makes sense. So what will the proposed community center and aquatic center look like? The revised facility, as Clint told you, approximately 60,000 square feet in size, will be located just downhill from our community library and city hall. Will feature a leisure pool with water slides, lazy river, and shallow entry, a 6-lane lap pool, 2 gyms, a jogging track, weights, cardio and fitness space, multi-purpose rooms for meetings and classes, a child watch area, locker rooms, and on-site parking. The proposed community center is much more than just a fitness center. It'll be a year-round, multi-purpose recreational venue for the whole community, including children, young adults, and seniors. It will serve as a gathering place for our citizens, a place for meetings, classes, lectures, games, cultural and arts events, music, fun, and much more. This facility, including access road and parking, will cost $30 million, is a joint project funded through a cooperative agreement between the City of Sammamish and the YMCA of Greater Seattle. Best of all, it can be built and operated with no increase in taxes, no new taxes, and no debt. Because of sound financial management, the city is able to provide $25 million from existing reserves while still maintaining our fiscal safety net. The Y will contribute $5 million for construction costs and will manage the new center, providing affordable membership to the Sammamish community. Additionally, the Y will be solely responsible for all annual maintenance and operating costs. Now, to some it might appear that the city is simply building another athletic club. but this facility is so much more. It will bring families closer together, encourage good health, and foster connections through fitness, sports, fun, and shared interests. Sammamish residents have voiced tremendous support for such a venture, indicating our needs are not being met by local fitness clubs that cater primarily to adults. Now, our City Council understands it is a very significant investment in our city. Because does not involve a tax increase, they themselves could have voted to move forward on this project. Instead, they decided that they needed to confirm the support of the community at large. As such, the council elected to place a non-binding advisory vote on the November ballot. So in the next few weeks, Sammamish citizens will have the opportunity, I have just one more paragraph if I may, to indicate their support for a new community and aquatic center in the heart of our city. We believe it will be an incredible gathering place for everyone to enjoy for your entire family, from toddlers to seniors. You'll be able to swim, exercise, play basketball, volleyball, dance, play bridge, jog, stretch, work out, do yoga, take classes, attend meetings, and have fun indoors year-round. Other cities have community centers that foster a tremendous sense of spirit and unity. It's time to make that happen in Sammamish. Let's build a gathering place for everyone to enjoy. Let's give Sammamish a heart and soul. Please vote yes on Proposition 1 for the City of Sammamish. Vote yes, and with no new taxes, the City and Y will join forces to build and operate a first-class, multi-purpose recreational facility in our growing community. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Take a 10-second breather. And now we turn to the opposition interest this evening. And Jim.
We're all just biting on it.
Hank, that was a very nice introduction, and you have clearly some good passion about this subject. Now, first of all, I just want to say the con committee and the people that wrote the con statement, everybody on this, we're not anti-wine, right? That's the first thing. What we are is concerned about spending our financial reserves for a non-essential building, for a health club that really should be funded by private enterprise. There already is a private enterprise out here that employs 200 people. Competing, when city government moves into competition with entrepreneurs, and that's a bad precedent to set. And that's what this facility is attempting to do. From the perspective of, $25 million, we're not given the opportunity by our council, and there's a number of five members of council here now, so thank you all for coming. By the way, thanks citizens for Sammamish for putting this on, because this is the only forum we have to actually discuss this. We've not been given any opportunity as citizens to say, hey, we have this hunk of change. Apparently this is burning a hole in our city council's wallet, and they just want to squander it away and send it off. I mean, think about all the different things we could do. For instance, I'm going to just read a couple. We're very environmentally friendly up here, okay? City could take that $25 million, and they could go around and they could buy up the property that private people are selling right now, and instead of putting in house farms that are going in everywhere, we could buy that land and preserve green space. But no, you don't have that as an option, do you? No. They could provide ball fields, additional ball fields, even over and above the ones that we already have, because let me tell you, I'm an assistant coach for a youth football team. I have 8-year-olds out at night, till 9 o'clock at night, under the lights, practicing, because we don't have ball fields. And I go out there and I talk to other coaches, and I'm like, what's the one thing you guys need? They're like, Jim, we need more ball fields for these kids. Last weekend, for instance, we had a ball game in Bellevue. Neither one of the teams, we were from Sammamish, they were from Lake Washington School District, and we both had to play in Bellevue. Neither one of us was our home stadium because there's no ball fields for people to play. So we could be putting money towards that. We could have a rainy day fund. We don't know what might happen, right? Earthquake could hit. What happens? How do we recover? How does the city recover from that? Who's got the plan to back that up? We have infrastructure.
that could go in to actually start town center. The city council, and the current city council, and the councils before, and Don, I think you've been there since day one, or close, very close to it.
That's true.
Right? Has talked about a town center. So the infrastructure that could go in place to actually start a town center could be used by this money. That money would then in turn bring in additional retail and revenue tax bases for this city. And it becomes a sustaining matter, not one that where we spend $25 million and we get a gym in return. So there's so many different uses for these funds. And the real problem is we're not given any option for it. You people have got one option. Advisory vote on this club, yes or no. I would have much rather have seen something written that said, hey, we have 25 million. You know, we could keep it, we could do all these other things with it. What would you like to see? And that hasn't happened. You know, a couple of years ago, actually I'm dating myself now, there was a debate between George W. Bush and Ellsworth. There were two things that came out of that debate. Some of you will probably remember it. George Bush had the term fuzzy math. So 25 million, 30 million. There's been some fuzzy math on this. Because where we're saying no new taxes, here's the real thing I've got. A couple of council meetings ago, or maybe even the last one, Caleb, you documented in this, the reporter, was we're going for an increase in property tax for the next 2 budget cycles. Yeah. So how can we, on one hand, say no new taxes, spend $25 million on this facility, and then a couple weeks later come in and go, we've got to raise property taxes.
Here, amen.
Okay? So to coin George Bush, that's fuzzy math. Now I'll play both sides of the fence. I'm going to quote Al Gore. Al Gore in that one came up with the term lockbox. I don't know if you remember that. Okay? Everything, we're going to put it in your lockbox. Well, it's like we have this $25 million sitting in the lockbox and somebody wants to go raid it. I don't think that's the right thing to do at this point in time. I'll let Arthur speak now.
Took my read my lips comment, huh?
You triggered that earlier, and I said I can't use that one, but I'll find a different debate.
We currently have a YMCA serving the needs of Sammamish, so thank you. And we have health clubs servicing our city. I hope everyone here today asks questions so we can better understand this enormous need that requires our city to build a new $30 million plus facility, and possibly $35 million if you include what they call the contingency and the value of the land. This is not a question of whether the Y is a great organization. It is. We're not here to talk about that. But the real question is, one, is this the proper use of public funds? And second, whether spending the majority of the city's cash reserves on a non-essential project that will only benefit a small fraction of the citizens makes sense. Adding to Jim's previous comments, our city should be focusing on providing essential services. Additionally, we should be building a balanced tax base for the future to provide economic stability for the area. We have a disproportionate amount of housing to commercial space, and this has gotten dramatically worse since we became a city because developers have found Sammamish City Hall impossible to deal with. Not hard to deal with, impossible to deal with. While our neighbors around us, Issaquah, Redmond, they're building numerous facilities, whether it be hospitals, whether it be office buildings, stores, everything. They continue to expand their tax base and strengthen their communities. Yet our city has not been able to add any commercial developments to speak of in over a decade. If we would just take a fraction of the $25 million and put that into needed infrastructure and make an effort to work with people willing to invest in our community, our city would greatly benefit by a stronger tax base, added jobs, and more goods and services to meet the needs of our taxpayers. As Jim mentioned earlier, our city should not be competing with the private business sector, and they should not be determining which businesses are successful and which fail. What has been hidden from the public is that the city has a private business that has offered to build a 40,000 square foot community center with 2 pools without using any of the city's money. You hear that? Without using any of the city's money. Or instead, to let the city build this community center. And they would run the community center and pay back 15% of the revenues back to the city. I would like to at least have the alternative, if I'm voting, to choose between one or another. I'd like to have other alternatives to look at, but I'm given one alternative here. And I find that just not right. I hope today we can hear why other alternatives that would save the city tens of millions of dollars are being ignored, and why running the facility has never been put out to bid. I always thought, I talked to a couple other mayors, and they told me in their cities they couldn't do something like this. They thought it was required to go out to bid. So I did call the state and found out there's loopholes to everything. I believe it's also important to point out that there are over 200 plus families on the plateau here that play tennis. And there's only one indoor facility on the plateau. That's the Pine Lake Club. If this facility was to put the Pine Lake Club out of business, we would end all indoor tennis on the plateau. To quickly summarize, I'd like city officials to focus on the essential needs of the city. And do not, I repeat, do not waste over $25 million of our tax savings on non-essential projects that would only benefit a limited number of people. Do not spend a majority of our savings and then raise our taxes. Do not put the city in competition with private companies, leading to tax-paying businesses closing down and people losing their jobs. Do not eliminate indoor tennis on Sammamish. Do not waste valuable resources that could be focused on our true needs, such as safety, infrastructure, schools, parks, lighted ball fields, environmental issues, including our major stormwater problems. Or alternatively, let's strengthen our city by investing in our economic future through development of projects that will pay taxes back to the city in the future, not a community center that will pay no taxes. And finally, if the city continues to pursue this venture, I highly encourage you to put it out to bid. I know the Y said they can only come up with $5 million. I have 20 seconds more. But what I would tell you from my experience in business, that when put out to bid and put into a situation that the Y would realize they would never be able to build a facility up here and compete with the 60,000 square foot facility, I can't guarantee you, but I almost guarantee you that you'd find a lot more than $5 million would be put on. This is going to be particularly if the Pine Lake Club fails, this is going to be a money-making venture for the Y, which I'm glad to see it. I'm just not glad to see the Y make money and then take it out of our community to other areas. Thank you.